Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Today on Tallidus Plays, we are back with Timberborn and our Lakes playthrough, and we are at the beginning of cycle number 5, day number 1. The water has begun to flow yet again, and any minute now it should be just getting over the top of this dam, flowing through, providing the nourishment that our colony so desperately needs. Now, we've set up quite a bit of an expansion project during the last episode, and you know what I realized? It's kind of cool how there's actually greenery that grows on these ruins. I don't know if that was always the case, but normally the ruins are in these kind of inhospitable areas, so it's rare to see them actually having greenery, which is kind of a nice touch, I just realized. Also, those would be a nice early source of metal. But looking around here, we've got a few projects in motion. We have our aquatic farmhouse. We've got one over here that is set to be constructed. They've been delivering materials. We're short on planks due to a lack of plank ability. The lumber mills are out. And I forgot to take the gerbil wheel off of the pause mode. So, oh, you know what? No, that is on walk mode. Okay, good. So eventually we'll get water, which means we'll get power. And as you can see, the power is all connected. So all 4 of these wheels are technically on the same power network, which is good because the observatory uses it as well. Now looking over here, I've thought about this a little bit more since the last episode, and I realized that the aquatic farmhouses being so far apart might not be the best idea because they're both going to have to run the same plant resources. Well, I guess it's going to be ran from the field anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. The crops are going to come out of the field to the grills or the storage houses. So they're either going to go into a grill, if it is spatterdock, or if it is cattail, it will have to go to a mill to be ground up in order to make the crackers. So I guess we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. But for now, we're just going to wait till these are constructed until we start actually setting up the planting zones. Again, you can see here these overlap pretty well right here in the middle of this like basin area. And the idea is eventually, I guess I could honestly use a little bit of this area to plant as well if I wanted to. I could plant here and then potentially a little bit in here. As far as I'm aware, the aquatic crops don't really inhibit water flow. They just use good water when it's available. So it wouldn't be the worst idea to look into putting some down here and maybe some over here. But this large basin will be the main area. As you can see, it stayed full pretty much throughout the last drought. This area emptied up mainly because we were using the water pumps to provide water for our beavers because they have to drink water, otherwise they get very thirsty and very upset. Keeping an eye on our satisfaction here, I'm going to put this on 2-speed for now. We're down to 8, so our well-being is taking a little bit of a dip, but that is common during droughts. Beavers aren't quite as well off as they could be. We had to turn the showers off because, well, we didn't have water, but now that the water is returning, we're going to go ahead and disable the depth limiters, which means that showers are officially usable. And look at that. Delicious water returning to the fields. That took a good chunk of day 1 to still refill. But that's also because we have some water flowing on through this area now. Also, you'll notice this whole zone stayed full pretty much throughout the drought. The water has yet to start refilling that area. So that's another cool thing to keep in mind. It's not being used. It's more likely to kind of stick around. So water does evaporate during droughts. So even if it's not flowing, let's say this is just sitting here untouched during a drought, it would eventually slowly decrease and dry up, if not replenished. But fear not, we are back to, let's go back to a 16-hour working day before I forget. And you can see here, this is part of the issues. When you start doing a lot of terraforming and hydro engineering, you get a little bit of flood ability because all this water comes through and it bottlenecks at this dam, and then it'll kind of flow back through the system. So you'll see here we have these swells where it gets very, very close to the top. Normally the water sits, you know, reasonably below the top bit. Kind of like this is what you'll normally see. That still is a little low, but it's flowing fast because, again, it's filling up these back basins first, and so on and so forth. But let's take a peek here. This building is not connected. Okay, yeah, so yeah, we have a whole lot of things requiring planks, so that's why we connected all these up. Our power network should be fully supplied. Yeah, look at that. We have plenty of excess power, so I think this is a good time to look into expanding our plank production. So we're going to go, first off, keep an eye on your workers. We have 2 unemployed beavers, no vacant jobs, that's good. that means we need to increase our housing capacity. So we have one house here. I'm going to increase the priority on these two structures, the stairs and the platform. Should unlock this house as being an option. And I think I'm going to go ahead and build yet another lodge. We will put it just right around the way. I think if I do flip, yeah, that should be fine. We'll do that. Again, I don't want to waste tons of planks building all these platforms, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we'll do that. That's the easiest way I can think of. And there we go. So yeah, again, we will prioritize all these constructions so that they get built as soon as possible. Again, be careful when you're prioritizing because sometimes you might click on the road itself, which doesn't matter. Roads are built instantly. You want to click on the platform beneath the road. So just keep that in mind. And yep, soon enough we'll have more space for more beavers. Those beavers are going to be working in the new lumber mills. So again, the lumber mills, I'm going to build probably... let's see. I could probably look into maybe just putting expanded power over this way and building more lumber mills out there. So the way to do that is you can really use the platforms to actually create like a elevated pathway. So the way to do that is we need to get rid of at least one of these crops. So trying not to destroy too many. Again, we're not really relying on sunflower seeds. It's more about the principle of the thing right now. I just don't want to, you know, destroy crops unnecessarily. Because they are a nice little treat when they come to fruition. Let's see, we'll clear that. Oh, we need to actually destroy it, I think, so we'll do that. Prioritize. And then what we can do is get our platform ready. He's getting rid of it right now. There we go. And we've dragged this all the way over here. It occurs to me I actually will need at least one more of these to be destroyed, so... possibly two. Well, we'll see. Okay, we'll just get rid of these. Get rid of these. That'll be a-okay. So the way we do this is we have to get power out of this, and then put it up and over. So go to the power tab, and you want a vertical power shaft. So that's one of these. We'll have to unlock it with some science. We have plenty of science. So yeah, you see here, okay, I don't need to destroy that one, but that's fine. This goes up one, and then this one is horizontal. So that'll go like so, all the way over here. And there we go. Vertical downward. And we should be a-okay. That connects like so. So this will extend the whole power network over. Let's go ahead and prioritize this because we really need these. We really need these planks getting made here. Our planks are not coming out fast enough. We got plenty of logs. We're actually going to have a nice little surplus of trees in a minute here because if the logs fill up, the trees aren't getting chopped. So they'll have the the forester will have a chance to actually catch up for once and replant all these trees. The pine trees are doing their job. I think we're almost full on pine resin. We just need to connect here. That'll get built eventually. And what do you know? What's the deal? They can't get here because I didn't prioritize this one. Ah, see? Also, don't forget the bottom. If you don't prioritize the base of a structure, the thing on top will never get built. So keep that in mind as well. All right. All right, so beavers are doing their thing. Day 3 is in the books. Water flow is officially restored. Now, see, at this point, I'm going to slow down just a little bit because we want to look into keeping more of our water retained here. So it wouldn't hurt to look into maybe building like an offshoot dam over here. I know we were going to probably build one up here at some point as well. Just retaining more water is always a good idea. Beavers love water. What can I say? They hear water running, they think absolutely not. Absolutely not. So we want to dam it up as much as we can. I guess we'll go back to 2 times speed right now. And the idea is we want this little power distribution network to be built out. And then when the power gets dropped down here, we are going to build at least, I would think, 2 more lumber mills. Because we really, really need that power. Oh, this is actually a perfect spot. We'll build one here. Build one here. We could build one. Well, we'll focus on building 2 for now. I don't know if we want to build all those. So 1 road, 2 roads. Beautiful. Because then they'll take those logs and they'll drop the lumber off right there. Or the planks they'll drop off right there. So that should work out quite nicely. Again, I'm just checking my priorities to make sure we're not... Yeah, if everything is a priority, then nothing is a priority. So make sure you don't have like the entire map highlighted in green, because obviously that's not really affecting change. On that note, I think I was also going to look up the larger... You can see the science is coming in real fast now with this observatory. That is perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Plenty of power being generated. We have almost double what we need. That's why I'm building more lumber mills. And frankly, we could probably start building gears again. The problem is gears take planks as an input. That's why I paused the gear manufacturing, because we're not building a lot of things that require gears right now. So we are going to unlock the large water pump. And that takes 400 science, but that'll be well worth it, because we're getting to that point now where we're really having a hard time refilling all of our water between droughts. So thirsty beavers. Thirsty beavers. We could build it up here, actually. This would be kind of cool. Why don't we do that? This requires minimal editing of our existing infrastructure. We just have to delete like one path and a couple blueberries. Honestly, we don't even need to do that. We could really just go platform, 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 and then stairs. Or even, do you one better, spiral stairs. There we go. And so then, this one I actually do want to prioritize. I know I just said don't prioritize everything. This one I think is worth it. And then we will highly prioritize this as a workplace. And this could take up to 3 workers, so that'll be great. It goes without saying, a bigger water pump, bigger tank would be ideal. Keep in mind, though, this takes metal blocks. So metal blocks is a whole new kind of category of creation. So we've got planks, we've got gears. Next up would be paper and printing press, but what we could also prioritize now is metal. That's a whole different category. So metal is right there next to it. So the first thing we need is a scavenger flag. This would take a metal from things like these ruins, as well as there is more permanent supply of metal in these underground ruins. And then of course the smelter smelts scrap metal into metal blocks. But again, keep in mind that this takes scrap metal and gears to construct. It also takes horsepower. And it uses logs and scrap metal. So it kind of melts the scrap metal down into usable metal bars. The mine is actually what extracts scrap metal from these underground ruins. So this is a bit more of a tech upgrade. You can see this takes treated planks to construct. So that's a little ways off. Treated planks are kind of like the end game for wood. It uses pine resin and planks to make treated planks. So it's all about, tacking up as you go. Again, we're starting day 5 of cycle 5, and we got a few infrastructure projects going on. These got built really quick because they don't take planks, because these make planks. So these got built almost instantly because we have plenty of logs, just no planks to use. And every plank that gets built is almost immediately used in some other project. So speaking of which, let's check over here and see. It looks like our spiral staircase is almost done. Oh, this takes treated planks. Are you kidding me? I was not aware of that. So all of my spiral staircases are not going to work. Interesting. I wonder if that's why everything has been kind of slowed down over here. Do I have spiral staircase on the brain? Those are just platforms. It's not a big deal. Okay, so... Interesting. That's why this isn't going to get built either. Okay, so maybe we'll do... Because we already have pine resin, we already have planks, so... Yep, I guess we'll unlock the wood workshop. This also takes horsepower. So we'll unlock that, 800 science, and we'll put one of these down right here. Actually, this fits perfectly next to the plank workshops. Again, I'm trying to keep these away from the nice green, verdant areas and the dry, arid desert areas. Now, with 1.0, I do believe that you have the option to build tunnels and things. So there's this whole new kind of contingency of Timberborn players that will build like underground rivers that can basically irrigate the entire map, even when you can't see where the water is coming from or going, which is really cool. Back in the old days, we would just basically build platform roads and then run water underneath the road, which you could always do. But look at that. Carrots are coming in. We're going to eat well. We got plenty of food and water and storage, so I'm not too worried about that. Again, really just trying to tech up and get these planks going. And eventually get these spiral staircases built, because we can't access our new houses. And would you look at that? We're starting to get vacancies. That's right. Interesting. So actually, this needs to be a prioritized building. And we need to lower the priority. I'm going to make these just a single priority now. Not that it matters, because you can't build it if you don't have spiral staircases. We'll leave that power as a high priority, though. So, interesting, interesting. So, things develop kind of organically in this game. Unintended. Look at that delicious science coming through. Of course, having looked at this, it takes, I think, 250 horsepower. Each of these takes, I believe, 50. So if you've done the math, that's 450 horsepower. We're only generating about 200 over our current network demand. If we unpause this as well, that would take a lot more horsepower. So, long story short, we need more power. So we need to look into better production. I think we could do wind turbines or a gravity battery. That takes metal. That takes paper. We could do a normal wind turbine. And I believe these are dependent on where you place them. If I'm not mistaken, generates power proportional to wind speed. Well, maybe they're not. Maybe it could generate power anywhere, but yeah. You can put a big row of these basically up high. Again, it doesn't matter if it's green or not, so it's good to kind of put out of the way. As long as it's near your power network, which this is. And actually save this little spot over here because you can dangle a couple of gravity batteries from that when we're overproducing power. Which honestly, I mean, if it didn't take metal, I would already be building one of these. But they do take metal, so we're not going to do that yet. We need gears. Okay, we should have enough gears to finish this. Planks are getting produced eventually. Logs are A-okay. So yeah, let's speed up time a little bit, because we're at a bit of another bottleneck, the treated plank bottleneck. So, treated planks become very common in the higher tech buildings and things, especially the metal structures. So, keeping that in mind, we need treated planks for the mine. Scavenger flag. We can. I don't want to unlock too much science at one time, though. I like having a little bit of spare science to work with. Look at that. We got 5 kits and 3 open jobs. So we really need these treated planks. I mean, I could just build normal staircases instead of spiral staircases in some of these areas. But, like, you know, I already set it up for spiral staircases, and they look so neat. To that end, I think it's time to build another water tank, because we're going to run low again. Let's go back to 2 speed, and let's go ahead and destroy a few more resources. I know. Sacrilege. Let's get rid of these as well. And I'm not going to prioritize. They'll get rid of those pretty quick. Let's see. What I could do is pop down maybe... No, I want all 5 builder or all 4 builders going right now. We'll leave those. Maple's coming in. That's nice. So we should be getting maple syrup here sooner than later. Tapper Shack will have plenty to do. Actually, we need a place to store said maple syrup, so keeping that in mind. I believe that is, let's see, pine resin goes there. I think maple syrup goes into a tank, though. It's a little different than the pine. Yeah. Pine resin, I guess it's solid enough, but maple syrup needs a tank. So we might actually wait. Wouldn't hurt to get 1 tank started, because it'll take a while to fill. So yeah, we'll put a medium tank over near the tap shack, just so that they have maple syrup access. So, where is the tap shack? Right here. Prioritized by haulers. Okay, where could we... You know what? We have a few extra spots here. Let's just do this. We're going to clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I count that right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll clear these. And then we'll just destroy those resources. Alright. And then the idea is we pop down at least 1 or 2 medium tanks there. And that'll be our starter maple storage area. That way there's not too long of a trek to go from the maple syrup to the maple storage. And then while that's getting worked on, we will come over here and plop down another medium tank for water. This one is just gears and planks, which we should be good to go. You'll notice we are almost out of gears, so we're going to kick the gear back into production. Into full gear, if you will. However, as we do that, boom, demand on the power supply is increasing ever more. As soon as these get workers, this is going to be really high in demand. So we're going to need more water wheels to fit production. Luckily, I left a gap here, so we can put 1 there and then 2 there. Eventually, we'll get dynamite and we'll blow out these couple spaces, and we should be able to fit a 3rd water wheel. Let's bump up the priority on that bad boy. And then for dynamite, that is, again, I believe it requires explosive factory, which uses bad water. So we'll need to start harvesting bad water. The way to do that is to use a bad water pump. And then, you know, they have bad water domes, bad water rigs. This seals a bad water source, just like it's a plug. Bad water rig can seal a bad water source and then actually extract it directly from the ground. So this is nice. Of course, you can see this is a high chance of injury. Centrifuge, that also makes the usable extract. So I think the extract has to do with other explosives, if I'm not mistaken. Explosives uses just the bad water. What is extract used for? I keep forgetting. I think it might be a medical thing. I'm not entirely sure. Is it science? Oh, yeah, refinery. Ha. This is for the bots. I see, yeah. So extract is basically like sulfuric acid, so to speak. So, chugging right along. Cycle 5, day 8 is almost complete. I'm going to wait till they finish this water wheel before I start building the next one, because when this one's completed, you can't really get to it. Beavers won't have any way to access it from any side. So also keep that in mind when constructing. You don't want to cut yourself off during your construction. So you can use priorities, but you know, nothing's better than just literally waiting till one is done to complete the other. On that note, we really need some... Let's go ahead and pop this priority up just to get a little bit of treated planks. We also need storage for said treated planks. So we'll build another large pile. Probably right here would be okay. And eventually we're probably going to replace these piles with the underground piles, because I think they're the same exact size. Yeah. And they both have to be placed on the ground. Actually, I think underground has to be ground. Large piles can be placed on top of other structures. I just haven't really planned out the colony well enough to use that fact yet. If I put like a 3 thing there, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe that's what these odd shaped lodges, the mini lodges, are for. You know, a little 2-spot. A little 2-pack house every here and there, so we need to prioritize this so that we have a place to put the extra treated planks. But fear not, we will have plenty of uses for these treated planks. They're going to go out and start constructing all the spiral staircases that we need. And things are looking good. Let's check our resources here. Sunflower seeds, got a few for snacking. Otherwise, we're all full up on berries, carrots, and grilled potatoes. So that looks like enough for, yeah, 2.5k is good for a drought, I believe, for now. My biggest concern, really, at this juncture is going to be... What's the term? Let's prioritize this. This is just planks. Yeah, we'll just use that. Bad water. When bad water starts rolling through, things get a little dicier, because that means it's going to keep flowing. Oh, you know what? I need to actually think of a way to divert it, because we're going to have to build these floodgates sooner than later. Yeah, I need to actually get working on these floodgates, because we need to be able to cut the bad water off and let it flow somewhere else. So let's prioritize these. Just the floodgates, though. So those will be the next thing that uses planks. Again, if it's all the same priority level, they will build what's closest and then kind of work their way out. So these will still take a while. So I'm just going to avoid prioritizing any other plank things until we get to the floodgates. Because we're good on all the other resources. You can see here gears are starting to wind down. Get it? Wind down. And supplies. So we are using the gear workshop to create more. Hopefully we can really get this staircase complete. Yes, it's got all of its materials. We just need a beaver to come by, swing a hammer once or twice, and then these 2 houses will be unlocked. And hopefully we can start getting ahead of our little worker shortage. I'm actually going to go ahead and build another lodge while we're at it, because we need more beavers. Mars needs mobs and we need beavers. So flip it over there, flip it and reverse it, and then we'll just do a little bit of cheeky plankage like so. Yeah, that'll be fine. I just don't want to use anything else that takes... Well, that's planks as I say it, but not treated planks, so that's okay. It might behoove us too, once I get more treated planks, we're going to do like a spiral staircase, probably here right down to the ground, just so it's more direct. Because now if you're living in this lodge, you need to walk all the way over here, come down, down, and around, so. But we're still using our well-placed shrubbery to give all the beavers a little bit of a, you know, boost. And look at that, another water wheel is complete, right next to the other 4. Keeping our network power just above the demand, and surely enough, once these are employed, we'll need even more power. So, I'm going to go ahead and assign another water wheel to be constructed right about here. There we go. So this little 2x3 6 system will be nice. And again, this power kind of chain here is allowing them to kind of run through and still have those sunflower seeds available. Now, what we need to do is think about the future. We have floodgates appearing, right? When these floodgates block any eventual bad water tides, where does that bad water go? If we don't have a place for it to flow, it's going to just overflow above these, floodgates. So right now, I think the only thing here is this natural dam is the only other thing that would be on the same level. There's a way to check that too. You can actually hold control and scroll. Nope, that's control. What am I thinking of? Is it alt scroll? There we go, alt scrolls. Yeah, so alt scroll, you can kind of go up and down in the terrain. So here I'm going to go to where the water is currently. So if we go up, that's our water plane. So here you'll see that these are where the floodgates will be. So if these are built and they can block 100% of the water flow, the water is going to go to the next best spot. Blockages are 100%. So that's a natural barrier and completely blocks water. However, over here you'll see this is a natural dam. So this effectively lets some water pass over the top. I think it's basically like a normal dam. See, that's a blockage. This is a natural dam. This is like 0.65. So the idea is if and when a bad water event is to occur, we raise both of these floodgates, floodgate 1 and floodgate 2. All of that bad water can only flow over here past this natural dam. However, due to the nature of fluid dynamics, there's a good chance that the bad water is still going to infect the system unless we create some sort of dam area over here that it can spill through. And you know what looks like a good idea? This. We replace that with a dam. Actually, I think we replace this with a floodgate. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll replace this with a floodgate so that we can allow bad water to flow out. And because here, if we go down, you can see this is a drop. This is a kind of an invisible shelf. This drops down. So the bad water ideally will continue to flow here, drop down, and it won't kind of flow back into this system. So that's my idea. Here you can see we have this bad water, but that's just always flowing. So we've been dealing with that the whole time. So yeah, we'll need 1, 2 to block it from getting in. We'll need this one to let it through, and that one will automatically let it through as it's already doing. What would be a good idea is, though, we could build a floodgate right about here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll build a floodgate here. So the idea is we can switch it. We can pull this one up and open this one. So instead of flowing this way, it flows this way into the source that's already being polluted with bad water. So easy peasy. We keep all the stuff downstream nice and clean. So that is the bad water plan. We're going to go all the way back to max height there. And let's see, they've already got this one constructed. So again, I have this set to 0.65 right now, which is the standard dam height. Hopefully they'll start constructing this one, but we need to get a path across. So to do that, we will need to increase priorities. So let's do that here. Okay, and then, do we need, yeah, we do need to increase. Okay, well, we'll just increase all these priorities, so. Because again, in order for them to get out here and do this work, they need to do a little bit of prep. So this is just telling the builders, hey, I want to get this thing crack-a-lackin' here. Also, what we're going to do is build the floodgate here for my potential diversion plot. And again, once we get explosives, this kind of stuff will be a lot easier. We can just carve out channels and canals to do whatever we want. What's the shortest we can make this be effective? I think 4. Yeah, we'll have to go for it. Oh! And, as if on cue, the drought is approaching. Luckily, it's still just a drought. Not bad water yet. I'm pretty sure that the game does warn you if and when a bad water event is approaching, so luckily we have at least one more cycle to make it through. Go ahead and set up this path as well. We're going to carve down here and then go all the way across around the wreckage like so, and then that should be fine. Okay, so we do need to get rid of a couple more trees. Forgive me, Mother Nature. We are doing this for your own benefit. And, of course, priority. So, up and up. All right. Let's see here. So we've got more. Oops, I forgot to prioritize this for water and also prioritize it by haulers. Yes. And surely, can't be serious. Can they not get here? Oh, yeah, they should be able to. Okay. We'll super prioritize this platform just because it's the last thing to get to the large water pump. It's a little silly to leave that undone. 4 open beds, 9 children, 7 available jobs. So we're looking good right now. Our worker shortage will correct itself in a matter of days. Once those kids grow up, they will be able to get some proper jobs. Food's coming in quite nicely. Again, sunflowers are just the thing. I don't know. Maybe we'll make all this berry sunflower. I don't think berry actually gives you any bonus to your well-being. Yeah, berries are not in here. So yeah, what we might do is just replace this whole berry area. It's just basically free growing food right now. You don't have to replant it. You just sow it. And as long as it doesn't have drought for 9 days, you should be fine. So, but yes, we are using the showers. We are getting the water. I'm going to go to an 18-hour day, actually. Let's do 20 hours prior to drought. So the beavers can get right back to work. They took a little break there. I gave them like a 30-second break, and then they're back in the fields for another 4 hours. So 20-hour day is rough, but it's kind of the way I like to get ready for drought. Gives them a chance to sort of stock up on resources, get those extra potatoes out of the field, chop a few more trees, maybe build some of these spiral staircases we've been waiting on. You know, that stuff. Also, I can't wait for this to be done, and we'll be starting to do a little bit more engineering here. And again, the nice thing about floodgates is we can really get granular with the way we control water. Because right now we're waiting on kind of natural dams, right? These are always the same. 0.65 height. You can't change them. That's just what they are. So they're a good stopgap for water in the beginning of the game, but you really want to get more ability to kind of customize your water usage. Let's go to 3 speed here for a minute. How's this forester doing? This forester is kind of in an interesting situation. They can replant. I think I have them exclusively set to be planting. Yeah, you're just chilling there, aren't you, pal? Huh? Maybe it's time to plant oak. Let's go ahead and go through here and pop a bunch of oak in because, yeah, you got some free time on your hands. So why not do that? Yeah, you can access this whole area. There's no reason not to just plant tons of oak and have it ready. I think oak is pretty, yeah, drought resistance 15 days. Nothing's getting to that oak. So yeah, let's we'll have the, what's your name? Idumel. Okay. And that looks like Terezi did unfortunately pass. I wonder when that happened. Let's see. Can we look back in the logs and see when our first forester Terezi? Nah, it's been a while now. R.I.P. Terezi. One of the only beavers whose name I bothered to learn because you were so vital to the growth of our little humble colony here. And chug along we go here. Beavers doing their thing. Looks like they're still working on this water wheel. We got a bunch more logs coming in. A bunch more logs being made. Sooner than later, we will finally upgrade. We have 2.7 thousand science, which is amazing. Let's see, refinery, bot part, and bot assembler. So, as you can tell, we pretty much, I mean, we're doing great. Science, there's not a whole lot else that takes science. We're getting to the point where it's more decorative and kind of nice to haves. I mean, yeah, we haven't unlocked most of the things, but like even the most expensive stuff, the Badwater Dome, 2,000, the Badwater Rig, 4,000, doesn't seem so out of reach now. Yeah, it's 1 to 2,000 for like the best stuff to unlock, but we're nowhere near getting that. I think that was going to be more of a cycle, I don't know, cycle 10 to 15 when we start doing that. So it'll take a while yet. And again, cycles are variable. I don't know how many days each cycle is. I think it's a range somewhere between like 8 to possibly up to 20 days in a given cycle. Also, you have the days before drought or bad water and days during. So those are all counted into the same cycle loop there. And look at this. I mean, I have a nice little homeostasis going here. They're cutting them down right when they're growing, and the forester is planting them right when they're coming out. So I like it. If we ever really need lumber, or logs specifically, I'm going to unpause this guy. This has been paused since very early in the game, actually, when I wanted the trees to kind of rebound a little bit. I kept it there, though, because, again, it's better to have the option to unpause it when needed. And you can see here we're starting to get a little bit of a stock on treated planks. Ironically, the one thing we really still need is normal planks. So that's why we only have one wood workshop, whereas we have 4 lumber mills. And here comes the drought. So I was hoping to have these floodgates up by now, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to kind of hold everything back as it is. The only thing I'd probably want to try to hold back is right here, the natural dam. It's letting a lot of precious water flow through, and this is all going to basically get washed out and wasted downstream. So we could, yep, see, you can see it going right there. So this whole area dries up really quick because that is not a full blockage. So that also means all that water was flowing over. This water too flows over. This is going to dry out right now as well. Parch out this area, so on and so forth. So the way to stop that is basically by, plugging up more downstream things. Maybe adding a floodgate here, this little gap. This is where most of that water escapes. And then over here, again, we could add a little floodgate right there in that gap to kind of plug up that whole lane. Eventually, I would like to divert this bad water so we can use this whole area to really expand. But again, we're starting to look at new districts, because if you're looking at the extreme parts, that's 55. This one is here's not even connected yet. The very far, that's 62. This is bright red, that's 73. So you're starting to see that I'm beginning to stretch the limits of what can be considered a functionally accessible beaver colony. So here they're coming through, and they're going to work on this platform, which is almost done. And we're going to keep the drought on fast speed for now because there's not a lot to be done. I've kind of set up a few projects, and I want them to get ahead of that. You know what I forgot to do is build the tank for the maple syrup, so we'll do at least 2 of those now. 1 and 2, that's fine. You will hold maple syrup, as will you. Not a lot for the liquid tanks. You got bad water, obviously water, maple syrup, and then catalyst, biofuel, extract, and antidotes. So antidotes, I believe, are good for beavers that have been affected by bad water. I think they need the antidote to heal them. So that's not a bad thing to look into, is creating the antidote refinery sooner than later, which is... refinery does catalyst and biofuel. What is doing the... Is it well-being? I need something that creates antidotes. Oh, there it is. The herbalist. Paper. Is that dandelions and berries? Hold on. What? Am I tripping? Dandelions. Okay, yeah. So these seem to be good almost exclusively for the... Okay, and that's also a good reason to keep some of your berries. You don't want to get rid of all the berries because, I think you can plant them. But, that's not quite as convenient as natural blueberries will always just kind of regrow. It occurs to me, I think even farm blueberries might regrow. So, not the end of the world either way. I'll probably plant some to supplement when we start doing that. But look at that, we got a bunch of blueberries all around here. So, we'll leave them for now. Back to full speed we go. Also, I think they run themselves a 16-hour workday now. There's not a lot to be done during the drought, and let's go ahead and turn off these showers. So again, we click on them and we limit it with the depth limiter. And this effectively makes it to where they can't be used. We'll set the depth limiter to 0. Because there's not really a way to pause the showers. It's not really an employed building. It's like a service building, so... You can see, though, these waters are, the water pumps are just chugging away. We haven't even completed the access to the large water pump, and yeah, it's looking pretty rough. So we're going to want to expand our abilities to hold water near our main zone. And I'm trying to think of the best way to do that. Would probably be really keeping this as a reservoir of clean water. Also, we might replace one of these with maybe a floodgate to let some of this water down if we need to. Or we could use this as a reservoir. This is kind of tall walls. Yeah, we could just build a few more levees around here. Turn this into a reservoir and then maybe punch a canal through and leak down into our area. That could also create a little bit of water flow. I don't know. That's advanced stuff, though. Again, I'm thinking several cycles ahead there. How are we doing on this spiral staircase here? We're not doing this. None of this is happening. Oh, that's right, because I'm prioritizing the floodgates. That's right. Okay. I'm not going to mess with anything else until we figure out this floodgate situation. Also, I'm going to need a staircase here. It occurs to me, so let's go ahead and set that up. We need at least one staircase here. Again, I only want to pop open one of these blockages. Put one down here as well. You know what? Let's actually not do that there. I was about to build a platform bridge across. So for now, we'll just put a staircase here. That should be fine. Okay. And these will be prioritized as well. Too far from the district. That's just because these are not connected yet. Because this is not connected, and therefore this is not connected. So, oh, it will be though. It will be. Fear not. Fear not. How's our priorities looking here, folks? Looking good. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good. Looking good. Okay. Everything is super, totally important. And we're coming around the bend. We have one more day left in this drought, and this will be the conclusion of Cycle 5. And the theme of the episode has been the long-awaited treated planks that I wasn't aware I actually needed for a lot of the things that I'm doing. So once we get all the spiral staircases in place, we'll have more storage, we'll have more water, and eventually we'll have some awesome floodgates with which to control the force of nature, water itself. About halfway there. Half a day left again. Are they able to actually do anything with these potatoes? Oh, they're dying right now. There they go. There they go. Yep. 1 day of drought resistance. So another crop loss. Luckily, we still have a pretty good, surplus of food. So just gives them time to chop down some of these sunflowers. The only viable crop. I should probably prioritize sunflowers, to be honest, during droughts, but I forgot to this time around. So I'll just leave it as is. And I think we're coming up to the end of Cycle 5, the end of Day 19 and the beginning of Day 20. Or, I guess, Day 1 of Cycle 6 is approaching here. Drought ended. Cycle 6 begins. And I believe that is a good spot to end this episode of the Timberborn Lakes playthrough. If you've made it this far, please feel free to like and subscribe. And until next time, this has been Tallidus Plays.